Welcome, everybody, to Stay Tuned Sports. It's your boy, King. That's your good friend, Jimbo, right over there, showing the guns. He's got the right to bear arms, ladies and gentlemen. He's an American, and he's showing. You know what else is American? You know what right now might be the most American thing in the world? The Lord Stanley's Cup, baby, for the 32nd consecutive season. And I do count the lockout year, so all you Canadians can jerk off yourselves. The Stanley Cup resides in the good old US of A. USA. USA. So fun. Was a fun game yesterday. By the way, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on Stay Tuned Sports. As I said, my name is King. His name is Jimbo. He's your good friend, Jimbo, actually. Also, to let you know, if you want to help us out at all, you can do so for free. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and the subscribe button. Like button obviously helps us with the algorithm. YouTube's a fickle mistress. She really is. But if you finger her right, she'll treat you right. So if you go ahead and finger that like button, we will certainly enjoy that. The share button, you share it with more people. The more people that are able to come in here, see us, say hi, say hello, say how you're doing. That's fantastic. And, of course, you get new people in here. If you're new here, you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Get us closer to that 500 subscriber mark so we can go ahead and be monetized and then quickly demonetized for the nonsense that I say. Wow, my balding, thinning hair is really popping up today. I got like a reverse alfalfa thing going on here. Oh, really lazy. I should probably at some point cut the hair, but I'm trying to use the headphones to do a hair maintenance. What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing here? Oh my God, it looks so bad. Anyway, I have hats behind me. I could throw a hat on, but I feel like that would be disingenuous. I feel you people already know. You see me. I'm bald as fuck. That's fine. In fact, I was so bald I shaved my head for 15, 20 years, however long I shaved it for. And here we are. So anyway, yes. Also, if you want to help us out a little bit more tangible, a little bit more of a cash money situation, we have a link for our donation station and our merch store in the top of the chat, in the description below this video. Helps us out tremendously. You can donate whatever you'd like. If you're going to go to the donation station, right now Pecan is still the leader in the clubhouse with $35 donated to us. If you want to get your name on a ticker, you donate more than $35 and you will replace Pecan. He's been on there for close to 10 months, I think. He's been on there for a while, so you can go ahead and do that. But again, that's only if you want to get your name on a ticker. You got to do more than the $35. We will accept any donation. $5, $1, 5 cents. We don't give a shit. Don't donate a cent because those are being discontinued. So,
I was just about to say that too.
But if you want to give us a loony or a toonie if they're Canada, boy, I'm sure the Canadians love watching this show. With me just talking to USA, Canada sucks. You can't even get the Stanley Cup. Woo! I'm sure they're thrilled with this show. But whatever you'd like to do, you can do that as well. And again, the merch store wide open, brand new stuff in there. Tush Push shirt, the Chief Swifty shirt. We have. Again, like I said, the 8-bit helmet shirts, Jersey Giants, Jersey Jets, a couple Eagle things in there. We have oil can. Again, the series just ended, but we had the oil can. That's been in there for a year and almost 2 years now, a full year, since she first showed her cans up there in Edmonton. That's been there since last year, and that's still there. And who knows? Maybe if you buy the shirt now, the Oilers will win it next year. Maybe third time's the charm. You don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pick up one of those shirts there. We got mugs. We got banners. We have our actual own fucking coffee. You want to drink coffee with your boys here? It'll wake you up. The Danny Dimes Wake Up Blend. It wakes you up like getting hit by a blindside from the offensive line that's non-existent. All that's there at our merch store. Like I said, the links are in the top of the chat and in the description. We've got that out of the way. Jimbo! How we doing, brother?
Not bad. A little hot. So if you see me making like faces, like I'm having back spasms, I'm slowly getting out of it now because I'm home from work.
Oh, geez. Back spasm? But, I know you do pretty heavy, industrious work, so I get the back hurting you and everything like that. And then especially if it's warmer, more humid weather, it just makes the experience entirely miserable. Everybody out there who works those. As I explained last night, because I was doing a live stream by myself, you have a job, you're a good functioning member of society. Me, however, I'm a broke, jobless loser. So, of course, I was able to go ahead and do a live stream, all of that. Nathaniel, in the chat here says, sorry, I don't see the Oilers winning it next year. Too many questions on that roster. I mean, a lot of people have been asking, does McJesus even want to be there anymore? Does he see a future in Edmonton, having been there twice, but just coming up short? Each of these last 2 years, does he stay? I mean, you look at the talent. Like I was mentioning it in the live stream yesterday. You have McDavid. You have Draisaitl, the Hart winner this year. You have even Nugent Hopkins, who coming out was a big name. Is not, I think, on the level of McDavid, but still a very talented, very good hockey player. You know, the Oilers have talent. I think one of the question marks that has been with them, from their fan standpoint and from maybe just a majority of other people, was the goaltending, because Skinner was kind of a question mark last year, and people had that kind of like, you know, listen, if the Oilers upgrade at goaltender, maybe they can do something, and they didn't. They stuck with Skinner. They got right back to the same position, almost exactly, and still fell just short. And it seems like some people seem to think that if they maybe had a different goaltender, if they maybe had a better goaltender, that it would be a little bit different. I don't know how much I would read into that, but because in my mind, anyway, a lot of the issues were Edmonton made a lot of mental mistakes in this Stanley Cup Finals. They did. They were very undisciplined. They were very turnover happy, turnover prone, and a lot of that, I think you got to give credit to the Panthers. They're just that kind of team. They're very hard hitting. They steal the puck on you. You know, they're that kind of, they're up in your kitchen. They're an up in your kitchen kind of team. So to that end, I'm not sure if it's just Skinner. Now again, he did left in some softies. You know, that you can't argue that. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's all him. But I mean, clearly, you know, if you're an Oilers fan, you kind of feel bad because you see it. I mean, you can't get any closer to winning the Stanley Cup without winning the Stanley Cup. Game 7 last year, Game 6 this year. You know, against the same team. It just, it kind of, Nathaniel in the chat here says, I have a lot of opinions on the Oilers. Too much to text about it. Boy, this is where I wish we kind of had a phone. Maybe we'll do that at some point. Someday we'll set up a Google line or something and actually get a phone call situation set up in here. But, yeah, I mean, I think the Oilers have a lot to worry about. Although I did see a couple of comments yesterday on social media about how, hey, listen, the Toronto Maple Leafs were the Panthers' biggest challenge in this playoff, weren't they? Man, it's just, you know, Maple Leafs fans they're trying to hold on to anything, or the Maple Leafs fans. But yeah,
screw them.
Yeah, no, you're not. I'm especially when it comes to Canadian teams. If I'm going to like somebody, it's not going to be the Maple Leafs. It's certainly not going to be the Montreal Canadiens. You know, I like Edmonton and Calgary a little bit more. You know, they're fine. Winnipeg, you know, take or leave. Fuck Ottawa. As a Devils fan, I hate the Senators. They're our bugaboo team. They're one of them and the Hurricanes. I hate both of them. So I'll just put that out there right now. But yeah, did the live stream last night. Was fun. Had some fun in the chat. There was a lot of people in there, which was good. Well, I mean, a lot of people relatively, you know, for us, you know.
Yeah.
We had about 5-6 people in the chat. That was great. You know, for other people, you know, they're used to 1,000, 2,000 people in chat, sometimes more. We had 4 or 5 people in the chat at once. It was fine. It was fun, but it was fun. But the game was not, you know, was not a classic. Unfortunately, it was over fairly early. Florida took control. They did not let up. And
I was wondering about that because when I did wake up this morning, I saw 6-1. So I was like, all right, well, definitely one goal is probably an empty netter. So 5-1, I'm like, man, I hope for King's sake it wasn't like a snooze fest.
It
Over
was
5
it
minutes
was a
into
bit of a again, not the greatest game, but it was a Stanley Cup clinching game, so it was fine. And again, we had good conversations, and we had a good uniform conversation. We were talking about best and worst uniforms, current, past, all that kind of stuff. Shit that I love. Which, by the way, I think it's July 15th or 16th. The Chargers coming out with their new alternate uniforms. Excited to see what that's going to look like. But yeah, Reinhart had 4 goals, 2 of which were empty netters, because it was 3-0 with about 7 minutes left in the third period. The Oilers pulled their goaltender. Desperation time. It's this or nothing. You got to do what you got to do. And Reinhart got that for the hat trick, and then he got another empty netter later on that made it 5-0. And then the Oilers got a garbage time goal. Unfortunately, I think it was Corey Perry got it. Unfortunately, the Panthers weren't able to get the shutout, which would have been a cool little exclamation mark. But, it was what it was. Sam Bennett, as I think most people thought, got the Conn Smythe Trophy. You were betting heavy on Marchand, and he made a late push. He made a late push, but when you're Bennett, you got 15 goals during the Stanley Cup playoffs. You had 5 of those goals in the Stanley Cup Finals itself. It was a relative no-brainer that he was going to win and should have won.
Yeah, I mean, the award should be for the Stanley Cup Finals, not the whole playoffs. Like have a separate award. Like Marchand had 7 goals this in the finals here. Like that's impressive. 7 goals in 6 games.
Did he have 7 goals in 6 games there? Did he? I thought that was for the playoffs. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
I thought they said. Breaking news for basketball.
What's that?
You saw this. The Buss family is selling majority part of the Lakers.
What?
Pretty sure it's a majority. Let me. I'll jump.
Well, no, that's it. If it's a majority, it's a controlling interest. So they'll stay on it, and they'll still, be basically invested in the team, but they won't be the controlling family. That was it. Jeannie Buss and the Buss family. They've run that forever. Jeannie Buss, obviously, back in Playboy back in the '80s, very nice. I mean, she's still pretty good for a gilf. But
what if LeBron's buying them? He talked about it. Not necessarily the Lakers, but talking about... Yeah, but
here's the thing. Like, the Lakers are there with the Yankees, Cowboys, Manchester United, things like that. Like, they're a global franchise where even just getting a majority stake, you're not even getting the whole thing, but just to get a majority stake is going to take... It's going to be a collaborative effort. It's going to have to be. Like, I'm thinking at least 10 million, or 10 billion. Why did I say million? I don't know. Yeah, it's going to take, I think, at least 10 billion to get that for the Lakers for that franchise, for a franchise that just prints money even when you suck. Yeah. Like, that's Wow, I did not see that. I'm going to go over to Twitter right after I look up Marchand here. Looking up this. So let's see here. 6. He had 6 goals in the Stanley Cup Finals. So, all right. So you were just one off, but even still, very impressive. But he had 6 goals. Bennett had 5. Plus, Bennett had the 10 in the regular rest of the playoffs. And that's the thing. Just overall, the play I think was better from that. And that's not to take anything from Marchand. And I think there was a legitimate debate between that. So let's take a quick lick here. Quick lick. This is why I'm glad we do this live, though, because now we have something like this that happens. Finally, something happens while we're on the air. This is amazing.
It only took 3 seasons.
And this is coming from old Shams Charania there in ESPN. The Buss family is entering an agreement to sell the majority ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers to Mark Walter, the CEO and chairman of Diversify. Oh, so it's a hedge fund manager. Oh boy, the hedge funds are getting into the sports games. That's going to be the only way you can get into owning a sports franchise now, especially like in the NFL and for a team like for the Lakers. Jeannie Buss will continue to serve as in her role as the governor after the sale. So Jeannie is still going to be the head of the franchise, but she's not going to be the majority owner. So so the hedge fund is buying it. The hedge fund is going to own the majority share, but because it's a fucking hedge fund, there's not really a head of it outside of this Mark Walter guy, and I'm sure he's like, basketball, they do the dribbling. I don't know. What kind? Does it have any? All I know is the money. The money comes in, I get the money. There we go. That's and that's fine. Hey, listen, that's great. So I guess Jeannie's going to stay there. But wow, that's big. That's big. That's big. That's big. Big news. Lakers getting sold. Hey, listen, people need to get money. And baby Jeannie. Jeannie's in her 60s now, I think.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's top notch, man. Good Gilf action right there. Like I'm not even like listen. And I know like some people are going to say that's terrible and that's misogynistic and everything like that, but clearly she takes care of herself. Clearly she has done the cosmetic surgeries here and there. I mean, that's not unheard of, unknown, especially in LA. Like, fucking come on. Yeah. So she's wanted to make herself still be attractive, and she very much is. She was attractive back in the 80s. She's been attractive for 40 plus fucking years, so and rumor is she's had a lot of fun with a lot of different players. So that is what it is. Hopefully not Magic Johnson. We all know why. Moving on. Nathaniel in chat, he says Bobrovsky was also in the debate as well. I get that, but I don't think Bobrovsky had a good playoff run, but there were a couple of games where he was a little, where they put 3, 4, or 5 past him. Not just in this series, but in the ones before that. The Maple Leafs one too, where it was kind of like, ooh, But he turned it around and he had a good playoff. But I don't think he was on that discussion list for me anyway.
I will say about Bobrovsky, good job, Flyers.
Again, that was like 10 years ago that the Flyers had him.
But it was after 2 seasons like that. That's when I first started getting into the Flyers and watching the Flyers. Like 2012, whenever we became fans or whatever.
Yeah.
I learned real quick that they are not patient. The front office, they're like, "Oh, you suck. Bye. We just drafted you. You suck. Bye." Like,
but here's the thing that I've learned with the Flyers. Is somewhat it's half a note of that, and it's also a half a note of they keep people who suck longer than they should. So they give up on talent that maybe isn't reaching their talent, and they give up them very quickly. But then if there's a name that they believe in, they think they're supposed to be this guy, and they're not reaching it, they will hold and hold and hold. And hold, and then they'll get rid of him when he's worth nothing, and everything else has passed him by. So the Flyers have a lot of issues as far as that goes. Listen, it's sort of the Devils. The Devils haven't been fairly good in 13 years or so, about the same time as the Giants. The Giants won the Super Bowl in 2011. And in February 2012 was when that Super Bowl was. The Devils went to the Stanley Cup Finals that year in June against the Kings. And since then, boy, it has been shitsville for old King here when it comes to his teams. But and speaking of the Conn Smythe Trophy, I still will never forgive the writers or the press or whoever decided to give J.S. Jaire the Conn Smythe in 2003. For losing the Stanley Cup over Martin Brodeur. Brodeur deserved that Conn Smythe far more than J.S. Jaire. I'm sorry, if you lose, and I know it's happened before. Ron Hextall got it for losing. There were a couple other players that have got it on the losing team. And listen, the Ducks wouldn't have been where they were if it wasn't for J.S. Jaire. I get that, but Brodeur deserved the trophy. That's all I'm going to say. I know it's been 22 years, but I'm still pissed.
Smell of jealousy.
Not jealousy. I mean, we won the Stanley Cup, so I don't give a shit. It's still 22 years ago now, but that is what it is. Nathaniel in chat says, "Fuck you, Flyers." I'm a Pens fan there. So there you go. You got another friend in the chat, Jimbo. We're just good at making friends.
Yeah. Actually, I'm kind of glad he brought up that he's a Pens fan here. Listen to the Pat McAfee show today. They were talking about Connor McDavid and where's he go from here, and if he does leave Edmonton, where would he go? And they talked about the Pens. If he's McJesus and everything, and you kind of gave me shit in the chat about saying he's the Lamar Jackson of the NHL when it comes to
because he actually performs. Like in these playoffs, he was the performer. He didn't choke anything away. The reason Edmonton lost is not because of Connor McDavid.
No, but if he's supposed to be the next Sidney Crosby or better than Sidney Crosby, even at 190 years old,
Sidney Crosby had Evgeny Malkin. He had Rust on his team. He had the other French asshole. He had Marc-Andre Fleury in net. Let's fucking relax.
Sidney Crosby is the Brock Purdy of NHL. So
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You're insinuating it.
I didn't say that. And also, stop shitting on Brock Purdy for the love of fucking God, will you?
Hey, we're close enough to football now. I can start getting warmed up.
And that's and Nathaniel said McDavid got. I think he got the Hart Trophy last year. Did he? Oh no, wait. Did he get the Conn Smythe last year? Yeah. Did he win it for? He won it on being a losing team. I think that actually did happen. And now that I remember it.
Yeah. Because I remember you complaining about your Devils guy last year too.
I will continue to complain about that my entire goddamn life. I don't care. But yeah, I do think he did win last year and that's the thing. He carried that team, and he does still. So to say he's the Lamar Jackson, he's more of what would be a good NFL equivalent? Who's somebody that drug a team to a Super Bowl championship?
Oh.
No.
I was gonna say, compare him to Danny Dimes.
No, I was thinking about that because listen.
Oh, he's
Daniel Jones in 2022 dragged the Giants to a playoff win that they had no business winning. So I think we can say Connor McDavid, the NHL version of Daniel W. Dimes. That's all I'm going to say. I was actually going to say for a Super Bowl championship, like a real, the only other thing I can think of.
Jim Kelly.
What's that?
Jim Kelly. I don't think.
I would say here's the thing. I would say Tom Brady's first because who saw that coming?
Okay.
When Bledsoe got injured by fucking Mo Lewis. And, ruptured his spleen and almost murdered him, which was a legit thing. Bledsoe almost fucking died.
Yeah.
He was, I think, only his second year. That was his second year. He was only a backup. He went in there, and obviously what happened with the Patriots, happened. Maybe that's the last comparable one of, somebody out of nowhere that you wouldn't expect dragged that team to a win. But even that, it's hard. It's a hard comparison from that position there. But yeah, you trying to say that he's Lamar Jackson? Calm the fuck down. Calm down. Nathaniel does. I don't think he likes my comparison of Connor McDavid to Daniel Jones. But listen, I still believe in Daniel Jones. I absolutely do. I think Indianapolis is going to be a lot better with him at quarterback. Than they would be with Anthony Richardson, and I think Daniel Jones is going to do a lot better in Indianapolis than he did with the Giants, just because of I think who the Giants are. But I still until he retires, I will always and still believe in Daniel Jones. I always will.
Yeah.
But Dan Marino, yeah, I guess that, but he only got to the Super Bowl his rookie year. That was his only Super Bowl appearance. And again, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, great quarterback, but never got back to that spot, And to be fair, Connor McDavid also has Draisaitl. Sorry, I don't know why I said Draisaitl. He has got Draisaitl. He's got Nugent Hopkins. He's got some other people. Early on in Marino's career, he had Mark Duper. And then he also had Irving Fryer. But outside of that, not a lot. Marino never had a lot. And he never had a running game to work with. down in Miami. They never had a running game while Marino was there. So, I mean, interesting comparison. Again, it's really hard to say that. And you said Jim Kelly, but boy, that Bills defense in those 4 years where they went, that was especially the 90 one. The Bills should have won the Super Bowl in 90. They should have. That game against the Giants should have been close. The Giants were playing with their backup quarterback. They had just barely beat the 49ers with a bar kick. Like when you look at that Bills team against that Giants team, that should have been a blowout. And the fact that Giants defense was good enough to slow down that Bills offense, the K gun there. It's still crazy to think that the Giants won. The Giants 3 of the Giants' 4 Super Bowls are shocking Super Bowl wins. They beat the Patriots twice, the one 18-0 team they beat, which was also a big shock, and they beat the Bills in 90, which should have never happened. The only one where they were like, yeah, the Giants are pretty much going to win this game was when they beat the Broncos in 21. That was one that was kind of like, yeah, the Giants are just a dominant team. They murdered the Redskins. They murdered the Bears. They like all the other teams that were really good, really big at that time. The Giants just killed on their way to that Super Bowl. So interesting. But yeah, as far as the rest of the cup's already been cracked. Before it even left the ice, the cup was cracked. And I believe the ass end of it was damaged. I'm not sure if they damaged it at the Elbow Room or not, but they've been down at the Elbow Room. They're just partying down there in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, the old FTL, and hanging out with the strippers, hanging out with the booze. There's everybody just hanging around the Elbow Room, so that's kind of fun. Great time to be down. Like, listen, it's never a bad time to kind of be chilling out there in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. Especially now, it's pretty good. And I think they said the parade's going to be on Saturday, so boy, is that going to be a party.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be a nice party down there in South Florida.
Yeah.
That's going to be something. Let's see. Nathaniel in the chat says, even after that, you're dead. Marino was absolutely amazing. The thing that set him back was the defense. That's the problem with Connor McDavid and this defense. I mean, again, I think there was a lot of problems with Marino. Didn't have a running back. Had maybe one good wide receiver in a couple points in his career, but that was it. And yeah, the defense was always a problem too. But Connor McDavid, I mean, listen, he won. I think he won the Hart Trophy again last year too. Or not, but he's also won a Hart Trophy. He's been in the league MVP. Now he's played with Draisaitl, who got the league MVP. He's got there's super amazing talent on that Edmonton squad. And granted, they won the lottery like 6 years in a fucking row, so there should be by this point. Not to mention they also had Taylor Hall back in the day, who won a Hart Trophy with the New Jersey Devils. You know how fucking hard that is. So you have that as well. The problem with the Oilers is I think they're just missing one or two pieces. I don't think they need a massive overhaul. And so seeing some of the Edmonton fans and seeing other hockey fans being like, blow it up. Oh, he's going to go. Connor McDavid's going to leave and then start all over. They might as well just blow it up, restart. Calm the fuck down. Relax. Like Florida's made 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. Before that, Tampa Bay made 3 straight. It's not impossible to make 3 straight. And listen, if Edmonton goes to 3 straight and they actually win it next year, these other 2
doesn't matter.
Not even gonna fucking no idea. Oh, what? Oh yeah, no, that would have been cool. But you know what? Now it's super sweet because we finally got the cup. And for the name of Canada, whatever. Although by that time Alberta might be a part of the United States. They're trying to secede. I think it's a whole thing. Canada's got its own issues. We have issues. They have issues. Everybody's got issues. So we'll just.
Yeah, I'll leave that.
We're leaving it. We're leaving it to the Steve Lookners and the agenda-free TVs and those people who do that shit. They can all handle that.
Well, let me ask this: do you think this is a not necessarily Edmonton Oilers curse, but do you think this is a Canada curse that they're going on 30-some years now?
No, I'm gonna be honest. What it feels like is, it's well, first of all, it's an odds situation. There's 7 Canadian teams, and there's 25 American teams. So odds are you're going to have an American champion anyway. Over 32 years, you'd figure you'd have a couple spots there, and there have been a number of Canadian teams that have made the Stanley Cup Finals in that time, but always falling short. I think it's a case of economics, too. The Canadian dollar is not great, and I don't know if you know this about Canadian teams, but even their income is in Canadian dollars, but they have to pay all the contracts and everything else out in American dollars.
Oh, okay.
So you're really not like the margin is very tight when it comes to these Canadian teams. So I think it's an economics situation. I think it's an odds thing because there's so many more American teams than Canadian teams. The fact that some of these markets are that small and do have a problem. Like I look at Winnipeg. Winnipeg might be moving back to Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like it looks like Atlanta is going to get an NHL franchise again, whether it's going to be a relocation or an expansion. I think they're getting one. And there's already been talks about the Jets putting themselves up for sale, True North putting them up for sale, and having to move. They play in the smallest arena in the league. They're not making any money. So that's the other thing. You got to figure out how the Canadian economy is and how their dollar is compared to the American dollar. Then you got to figure you're playing in the smallest arena in the league. So even if you fill it up, you're still only putting 15,000 people in there.
Oof.
And you have to try to compete with some of these other places that get 18, 20,000 people with American dollars. And I know the Canadians bitched about it, but it's something that NFL teams have to worry about too. Is Florida has no state income tax. Texas doesn't have it. New Hampshire doesn't have a team, but Tennessee doesn't have it. So if you're the Nashville Predators or if you're Tennessee Titans, you don't have to worry about state income tax. Like that's a big deal. That's a thing. So if it's like, are you going to sign with this team where, it gets dark at 2:30 in the afternoon, where it's, average winter temperature is -2, and, there's not going to be that many people there, and the money we do give you is going to be taxed to shit, not only by the American government, but the Canadian government and everywhere else you go, and it's all that shit. Or do you want to go play down in sunny fucking Miami, Florida, where even in the winter it's 76 degrees and fucking beautiful, and there's just girls in thongs walking down the beach all the time? Like it is almost not fair. It's like, where would you rather play, Winnipeg, or Miami, or Tampa, or even fucking Carolina? Like, sorry, like. I'm going, it. So I think there's a lot of that comes into the reason why. I'm not going to go there and say curse. I don't think Canada is cursed, maybe outside of their war crimes record, but I think just that they just haven't had the teams to do it. You had the Rangers in '94, they beat Vancouver. And then it's been off to the races. You had the Devils, the Avalanche, then you had the Red Wings twice, then you had the Stars, then the Devils again, then the Avalanche who beat the Devils, who were going for back-to-back, which is still bullshit. I think that was rigged because they wanted to give Bork a cup, those cocksuckers. Then in 2002, you had, I think it was the Red Wings again. Then you had the Devils again. There was a time, hit the mic again. There was a 10-year period where the NHL was run by the Red Wings, the Avalanche, and the Devils. Those were the three big teams in the NHL. Like in that mid-90s to mid-2000s range, those three teams ran the fucking league. But yeah, like, Ottawa had a chance in there. I think they played They were in the finals once. I think they played Tampa. That was the year before the lockout. Tampa won.
Okay.
Then you had Edmonton played Carolina, where Carolina won their first cup. Carolina beat Edmonton. I think, was Calgary in there too? Calgary might have been in there early on too, and they lost to I think it was Carolina again, because Carolina's got 2 cups, I think. So I think it was Calgary they lost to, or that Carolina beat Calgary. So there's been Canadian teams that have been there. They've been close, but they just can't get it done. And again, the Canadians have always been, and they cope. They cope very hard. They really do. Oh well, most of the players are in Canada, so the Stanley Cup really is coming home. Like, it's not really an American Cup. Really. Sorry, boys. I know it was originally called the Lord Stanley's Dominion of Canada Challenge Cup, but after 32 seasons, that is Lord Stanley's United States of America Challenge Cup now. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. At what it is. But congratulations to the Florida Panthers, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. And here's the other thing, too. Like, we're talking about how, the Stanley Cup is, it's America's now. I think we have to put, it might just be fucking Florida's.
Yeah.
Like at this point, Minnesota likes to call itself the state of hockey. Fuck off. At this point, the state of hockey is the state of Florida.
Yeah.
For the last 6 years, you've had the Tampa Bay Lightning in it 3 straight years, won it twice. Then you had the Florida Panthers in it 3 straight years, won it twice. There's been a Florida team in the Stanley Cup Finals every year for the last 6 years. 6 years! Florida has been the center of the hockey universe. That's fucking crazy. That's something I never thought I'd say, especially with the Panthers.
The other thing I want to bring up, since you said about 6 years too, the other crazy thing, Corey, what's his name? Corey Perry.
Oh yeah, with Edmonton.
5 out of the past 6 seasons.
Yes.
Holy shit.
What?
Man.
You got like, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. You just to think, maybe this is the year. No, it's not, Corey. Sorry. That sucks. That's almost as hard to. That's harder to do, I think, almost than winning it like back to back.
Yeah.
Lose it 6 straight, fucking.
Because I think he went. 5. I think he went 4 straight.
Let me see.
And then he lost last year and this year, which would make it 5. Yeah, I forget how it works. I saw the graphic earlier today and saw it. I'm like, holy shit.
Let's see. Corey Perry has appeared in 6 Stanley Cup Finals throughout his NHL career. He's won the Stanley Cup once with the Anaheim Ducks in 2007. He has lost the Stanley Cup Final in consecutive years with different teams. He lost in 2020 when he was part of the Dallas Stars. He lost when he was with part of the Montreal Canadiens in the bubble year of 2021. He lost with Tampa Bay in 2022. And then we skipped 2023. He didn't make the finals in 2023. But then the last 2 years he was with the Oilers and lost both of those years. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 5 of the last 6 years.
Yeah. He's
been in the Stanley Cup Final and lost. Lost with Dallas, lost with Montreal, lost with Tampa, and then lost the 2 with the Oilers here. So that's rough. You're looking at a guy that could have 6 Stanley Cup rings and only has 1.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. So yeah, but and Nathaniel backs me up on that. He says, yeah, the Flames did make it back when they still had in the Jerome Iginla era, which was that was a good time. That was a fun time in hockey. That was a good time. I did hate those jerseys they had at the time, though. I'm glad they went back to the classics there in Calgary. Very nice. Wonderful. By the way, Calgary Flames, the first Atlanta franchise that moved, by the way. We were talking about Atlanta getting a 3rd franchise possibly. First was the Atlanta Flames, moved to Calgary, became the Calgary Flames.
Oh, okay.
Then you had the Atlanta Thrashers, moved to Winnipeg, became the reborn Winnipeg Jets, who moved, the original Winnipeg Jets moved to Phoenix, become the Coyotes, who are now the Utah Mammoth. But they left the Coyotes name in Arizona, so if Arizona ever gets a team again, they'll be the Coyotes. It's a fucking mess. That's all I know. But be that as it may, let's move on to a little bit here. Some NFL news to talk about. Jaire Alexander, who I had hoped and prayed, I was like, man, come on, Giants. We could use him. It would only be, to me, it would be an even trade. Packers got Xavier McKinney last year. We can get Jaire Alexander this year. Be fine. Still not, I don't think it's equal, but it's good. It's something. But instead, no, Jaire Alexander goes and signs with the Baltimore Ravens and his college teammate, Lamar Jackson, down in Baltimore 1 year for, I believe it's $2 million base and a total value of $6 million based on incentives or whatever for a 1 year deal. So that's something. But hey, I may have to change some of my rankings based on that. The Ravens defense and especially their defensive backfield is stacked.
Yeah.
And they still have Lamar Jackson. They still have Derrick Henry. They have Zay Flowers still. They have Hopkins now also, while not the DeAndre Hopkins of old, still a solid number 3 receiver on a team, wide receiver 3. Jimbo, your thoughts on what this move does for the Ravens? Does this move the needle for you on your preseason rankings that we're still going to be reviewing and doing obviously every Tuesday? Which, by the way, latest video right now, you can go check that out on our channel right now. The countdown number 12 power ranking overall. Go check that out. But yeah, does this change anything about your thoughts on the Ravens, and does it move the needle for you?
So to answer the second one first, I just had to go back and look at my rankings, see where I had the Ravens, who's above them, who's below them. I mean, I may have to rethink it because obviously he's a talented player. Obviously, the biggest knock on him is, can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, maybe this is the year for the Ravens. Maybe finally, Lamar isn't the McDavid of the NFL. Jesus he'll actually get to the Super Bowl and play play against the Eagles, and then we'll just destroy them. But as far as Alexander with this contract, it's probably the right move for him. 1 year deal.
Oh no! That's good. It's probably what he was going to get most of. Yeah. From what has been reported, it's sources, the ever nebulous sources, is that he took less money to be with the Ravens than with anybody else because he wanted to be with Lamar Jackson and that crew down there. So take that as you will. Is that true? Is it not? I don't fucking know. But be that as it may, my question to you is, like, I'm not going to ask you what position you had them in on your ranking, but does this move them up for you in any way, shape, or form, or do you feel like you still have them in a pretty decent spot?
That's where I have to think about it because I already have them high. I'll say
right. As do I. That's why I was saying I have them high.
And the teams above them, I'm not sure how much of this move does it make them just a little bit closer to the next team, or does it make them leapfrog the next team or next two teams? I'll have to think about that.
It's an interesting move because that's it. I liked the Ravens defense anyway. Like that's one of the reasons why I had them up so high. And adding somebody like Jaire Alexander, I miss that we as a Giants fan, we had an opportunity to have a locker room that had Jameis Winston and Jaire Alexander in it, and I thought that just would have been an amazing locker room to be a part of.
The only thing I could think of is maybe Joe Shane just recently had a talk with Jameis Winston, just a Joe Schmo talk, nothing major, and realized if you guys put those two together, it's just too much. Too much going on.
Hamster in the chat. Great to see you, buddy. He says, dang, I'm late. I was eating. Eating is fine. Again, this is live, but you can always catch the recording once it's done. That's not a problem. Again, you can check out the countdown. That is available as well.
Real quick, another update on the Lakers.
Okay.
You nailed it.
$10 billion?
$10 billion.
Ah! Tell me I don't know my sports finances. Oh! Fuck you, Sham Charania. I'm an insider. I know what the fuck's going on.
Well, he's actually the one that reported it first.
Who's that?
Yeah, Sham Charan just said $10 billion for the Lakers.
Yeah, he just said it. But I said it before him.
Maybe he's watching us.
Maybe he is. He's like, oh, was it 10 billion? Let me ask. Yeah, no, 10 billion. Yeah, see? Look at that.
Maybe we're his sources.
I knew it before Sham. I didn't see Sham Charania say it. I just said, for a team like the Lakers in this market, the way it is now, I was like, it's got to be. The Redskins were just sold for $7 billion when they were ass and a stadium that was garbage. The Lakers have their own arena, their own and they're the Lakers. They're a team that can go 0-82 and still make money hand over fist because they're the Lakers. Let's be honest with each other. It's kind of like the Knicks. The Knicks before this year have sucked for 25 fucking years. And guess what? They make money. The Maple Leafs, going back to hockey, they're a team that before recently had a long stretch, 10, 15 years of sucking. And you know what? They made money. Why? They sell out. They sell the corporate tickets. They're always sold out, and the people will go see them all the time. They're never in danger of not selling out. They're never in danger of not selling merchandise. They're never in danger of not making revenue. There are some teams that are impervious to that. Yankees, Lakers, Knicks, Maple Leafs, Cowboys. I mean, look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys haven't made an NFC Championship game in 30 fucking years, and they make I think it was like $80 million every game day. They make $80 million every home game. That's not counting just the regular merch. That's not counting their TV rights. That's not counting anything else. Just on a home game for people coming into the stadium and sitting down in the seats and being the fat asses they are, they make $80 million a game. So that's what I mean. If you sold the Dallas Cowboys today, they'd be $13 to $15 billion. If you tried to sell the Yankees would be around that, $13, $15 billion. The Lakers, they sold a majority share. So not all of them, because there's still going to be other owners there. But a majority, and the Red Sox, the Red Sox are another one where they sold, I think, a minority share and still got a ridiculous amount of money for it. They got a couple billion for it. So absolutely. Hamster says you can't afford Cowboys tickets. Even nosebleed is ridiculous. Yes, but they still sell it out. That's the point. You can't afford it. I can't afford it. You can't afford it. Yeah. But people that can afford it do afford it, and they go, and the Cowboys make fucking money hand over fist. That's why everybody wants to get in the NFL. But the NFL has made the price so high to get in now that the only way you can get in is with hedge funds. And that's getting away with a lot of the teams there, like the Red Sox, like the Lakers, like any other new NFL team that's going to be out there. It's not going to be a single owner. It's going to be hedge fund. Unless you're already grandfathered in, like the Irsay girls, or like the McCaskies with the Bears or anything like that, unless you're already grandfathered in, if you want to try to buy your way into a football team, like look at Josh Harris with the Redskins. Like he had to get people together. And Josh Harris, I believe, has his own hedge fund, but he still needed Magic Johnson. He still needed a whole bunch of other people in there to put it all together. I keep on punching the mic. I don't care. But yeah, like that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take to go ahead and get all that. So, but listen, $10 billion right on the mark. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. This is why you come here to Stay Tuned Sports, to see this fat, broke loser predict shit that has literally no impact on my life. That $10 billion means nothing to me. It might as well be magical unicorn money. I don't know what the fuck it is. I think I have 17 cents in my Chime account right now. I am broke as a joke, which, by the way, if you want to donate to the show, Links are up in the description, down in the description, sorry, and up in the chat. So just saying, if you guys want to go ahead and get me on the road to the 10 billion I would need to go ahead and get a team, you can go ahead and donate whatever you'd like. Oh, good times. Also, quick, just want to touch on a quick thing before we get on our last little bit and we'll get out of here. Cam Skattebo signed his rookie deal with the Giants. Excited for this kid. I'm excited for this kid.
Who cares?
He's gonna break some fucking skulls out there, man.
Playing for the Giants. He'll be
I get a night. You know, I get an all-star feeling. I get a big Mike Allstott feeling from old Cam Skattebo, and I'm excited for that. He's got number 44, old Ahmad Bradshaw's old number there with the Giants. I can't wait to see it. He's going to blow up some holes there for Tyrone Tracy. The Giants are going to look really good going 6-11 this year. Going to look really good going 6-11. Listen, I think the Giants are going to be very much improved, but that schedule is fucking murder. It's so bad. It is.
Paper, because it's on paper.
I said this yesterday during a live stream during a hockey game. I was like, you know, you never know. There could be a team on there that we think is super high level, elite, and ends up sucking and all that. So yeah, it could happen. It could happen. But so again, it's hilarious if you go and look at me from 5 months ago, where I'm like, I'm done. I'm never watching the Giants again. Fuck this team. I'll watch the NFL. I'll watch other games. But I'm not dealing with the fucking Giants. Fuck the Giants. Fuck Daboll. Fuck Shane. Fuck Mara. This is all fucking bullshit. I can't stand it. I hate this team. This is the worst thing. Oh, my God. I Frank the Tanked it on the Giants. I was... Except it was legitimate. Frank loses his mind if the Mets get one strikeout. He's like, oh, my God, we're never going to hit it again. Oh, my God. And listen, I love Frank. I've known Frank for 25 goddamn years. And also, I want to say this to the people out there that always say I'm tired of his shtick. Why is he's such a fake shtick? As somebody who has known Frank for 25 years, believe me when I tell you, it is not a shtick. It is not something he's putting on for Barstool. You would think that it is. Yeah. It is not. That is 100% pure Frank Fleming. That is 1,000% Frank Fleming. That is who that gentleman is. And a little bit of Frank goes a long way. He's a lot. He is a lot. But I still love him. So that is what it is. Before we move on or do anything else like that, get out of here, I do want to get to the actual title of this because we had a little bit of a discussion about this before, and it really did pique my interest. And you guys in the chat, please share your thoughts and how you would do this as well. You can write an essay. I don't give a shit. I'll read it along. I don't care. But I don't think I ever sat down and really thought about it. But if you were a Stanley Cup champion and you got that 24 hours to hang out with the cup and you get to do whatever you want to do, you in the cup for 24 hours, what would you do? How would you spend your day with Lord Stanley's cup there, Jimbo?
So, I mean, like what I put in the chat, like part of it was me just being me. Like I said, I'd go down to Broad Street and climb one of the light poles.
Right.
Well, let's be honest. I'm not that agile.
You're not carrying 35 pounds of silver up a goddamn, light pole. That's not happening.
Yeah. So what would I do? I mean, I would probably definitely celebrate in Philly somewhere. I'd probably, I probably would go sit down next to the Rocky statue, put a Flyers jersey on top, on him, and have some pumpkin beer out of it.
Oh, don't disrespect. Lord Stanley's had some disrespectful things done to him. Don't put the fucking pumpkin beer in him.
And this part is true. I would bring my dogs with me and
oh, of course, people have done that all the time. They put their puppies in the cup. They put their babies in the cup, for the love of God.
But I think that'd be it for me. Just keep it, kind of quiet, simple. Oh no, that's right. Since I'm gonna be in Philly, I'm gonna drive over to your area and flip you off and be like, hey, I won a Stanley Cup, haha.
Well, so that's why this is a fantasy thought project, because the Flyers would have to win the Stanley Cup, and that's
Just
that's
like
not
you too.
gonna happen. But I thought when you asked that question in the group chat, I had thought about it, and I was like, man, I never really thought, for as long as I've been a hockey fan, and as long as I've studied the Stanley Cup, I've got books and books on the Stanley Cup. I've loved the Stanley Cup since I was a wee little, since before I can remember, 4 or 5 years old. I've loved hockey. I've loved the Stanley Cup. I've been all about. I played hockey as a kid. Hockey has been my life. As much as I love football and I talk about football and I do all this stuff, hockey has always been my love, my passion, my number one, and the Stanley Cup sits on top of that. And I'll see if I can find it too. But give me a second here. I had what I was going to say is, let me see. I'm gonna put that in there. When I had thought about it, I think what I would do is I would start the day off with with a nice breakfast, like a nice omelet, something like that, nice egg sandwich or something like that. I'd make some iced coffee, put it into Lord Stanley's cup, make enough for two, get 2 little straws for me and the wife. We would have our iced coffee out of the Stanley Cup while we eat breakfast over it. It'd be very nice, nice romantic way to start the day with Lord Stanley's cup. Then I would probably take it to my old hometown of Bayonne, New Jersey. And not to celebrate with anybody or do anything. I would come here to literally flip off every single person in this town and tell everybody to eat shit. Because fuck this town. Anybody who has ever been to Bayonne, New Jersey, lived in Bayonne, New Jersey, or lived around Bayonne, New Jersey knows that this town is a giant piece of shit. So they deserve every bit of it. And if I had I've often thought about if I've had superpowers, what I would do. If I had superpowers, like Superman's heat vision or something like that, it would be, I would instantly burn this town to the ground. Just to this town, just up to city line. I would burn this entire town to the fucking ground. Fuck Bayonne, New Jersey. Anyway, after that, I think I would go to the parents, have a nice luncheon. You have a nice, with the family. Everybody in the family gets to see the cup. We all get to look at the names. It's pretty cool. I've been able to do that before, which is actually pretty fun. A pretty fun thing to do. Ooh, what's this? Hold on. I get easily distracted. Again, I think I have. I swear I got the ADHD, man. It's there. ADHD, touch of the tism, the whole schmear. But yeah, no, oh man, I wish I had it. I wish I could find it. I can't find it right now. But anyway, yeah, no, I'd have a luncheon with the family. Have a nice time with them. Everything like that. Then you talk about that's probably about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then from then on, we're hitting the dive bars. Oh, my people in the dive bars. Really dark, where they still have smoking. Where there's just some women of ill repute. A lot of people with summer teeth. That kind of situation. Definitely go hang out and just kind of bar hop from one dive bar to the next, drinking various kinds of Lion's Head, some Schlitz, some Jenny. Got to get some Jenny. Got to get the Jenny. If you're from Northeast PA, you got to get some Jenny in there. Do all that, and that's about how I would spend my day. Hamster says he would take it to the strip club. Well, here's the thing: you're kind of a I know you're in by the border there with Georgia and Tennessee and everything, but you do identify kind of with Atlanta. And if what I've heard about Atlanta is true, the strip clubs are top notch. So if you're going to take it, you should do if you're around that area. You should do what I would do with the dive bars, where I'm just going to hang around and bounce around to the dive bars. You just jump around to each titty bar and just go around there. By the way, confession time here. I'm 43 years old. Never been to a titty bar.
Huh.
Never. Not once. Not once.
I've been twice. Twice I've been to one. Once with shoulders,
Right.
and his girlfriend at the time wanted to take him, and I advised him beforehand, it's not a good idea to take your girlfriend.
Probably don't do that.
And sure enough, they got into a fight because he was giving, the dollar bills, making it rain.
You should never do that with the wife or girlfriend there unless she's like doing it too.
Yeah.
I guess
She wasn't.
she was?
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't. That's what I mean. That's when you gotta pull back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
then the other time was AC when Atlantic City when Metallica had the Orion Festival. That one was kind of interesting.
I forgot about the Orion Festival.
That was a fun festival.
I wanted to go to that, and I never. I think I was still working at the radio station at the time, WBSX in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So I couldn't go. But boy, did I want to go to that so bad. I miss the big four at Yankee Stadium because of that radio job. I miss the Orion Festival because of that job. I miss a lot of good shit because of a job that didn't give a shit about me. And boy, I always wanted to be in radio. I was glad that I was in radio. I got to live my dream and be an on-air personality in the radio field. Something I always wanted to do, always dreamed about. So it was cool. It was cool to live out a dream. But radio isn't what it was. And I found that out the hard way, unfortunately. And it is what it is, and here I am now. But, I'm still doing what I love. I still love doing this. Just doing it a lot broker than I am, not making any money off of it, but still doing what I love. So that's what really matters. And again, this is another time to go ahead and plug the fact that we have our donation station and our merch store links at the top of the chat and in the description below this video. So now the NHL season's done. We just have basketball left, which could end. I believe the game is tonight. Is it tonight or tomorrow? It might be. I know they skip a lot of fucking days. I thought it was tomorrow. Let's see. I think it is. Let me see where the schedule has them. I wanted to see. The reason I kept on pausing, by the way, before is I have a picture of me, 13-year-old little old king. Tomorrow.
You weren't little either.
Well, no, when I was 13.
I know what picture you're talking about.
Yeah, when I was 13, I was 6'4", 295.
Yeah.
So I was littler than I am now, but because I'm 6'8" and 300 now. So and losing more weight though. Carbless diet fucking works, especially if you're diabetic. Carbs turn into sugar. Who knew? Everybody apparently. But and Hampshire, tomorrow. So tomorrow's the NBA is probably going to be over tomorrow. But I have a picture. I have a picture of me, 13 years old, at the Big Apple sports bar in Bayonne, New Jersey, with Lord Stanley's Cup, the morning after the Devils won in 1995. And I was going to try to pop it up here because of our conversation, but I can't fucking find the picture. I have it somewhere. Maybe I'll post it on social media. Maybe I'll find it somewhere else. I wanted to have it for the show to just kind of pop up on the screen here, but I just for some reason I can't find it. But yeah, I got a picture of me. Love the trophy. My father put a dent in it, which was cool. He tried to put it back down on the table, and he fucking nailed the side of it. But it's cool. You look inside, you can read in the cups. Inside has the engravings. I believe it. Inside the cup is for when the Wanderers beat Kelowna, the Kelowna Thistles, and you see all the different engravings on the outside. You see all the mistakes that are made on it. I believe it's I think the 80. I think it was the 81, the second championship the Islanders won. I think they misspelled Islanders as Elanders. They've got the S in Islanders. You can see the spot on Edmonton's first championship where the owner wanted to put his father's name on it. And when the NHL found out, they went back and they X'd it out. So there's just a series of X's over the name because he wasn't part of the organization. And to get your name on there, It's a sacred fucking trophy, man. If you're not part of the organization, you don't get your name on the fucking cup. Sorry, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it was fun. You know, that was an experience I'll never forget. I got to drink beer out of it as a 13-year-old in a bar. The guy there was like, "I don't give a shit. Go ahead." I was like, "Thanks a lot, man." And it was an experience that I'll never forget. So I got to lift it above my head. The picture of me is 13-year-old me trying like hell not. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Trying like hell not to drop that beautiful piece of hardware. But that was pretty cool. But yeah. So Hamster in the chat says our football countdown feels like a countdown to the end of the year, because once football kicks off and all the holidays, it goes. And that's the thing. And I noticed that last year. Which was our first year of doing the live streaming and doing all the games, is once, and maybe it's been that way, and it's always felt that way to me, and it just, last year it was just exemplified because of what we did here. Boy, did the fucking season fly. Like, it felt like it took forever to get from this point to September. And then September to February was like 3 weeks and it was done.
Yeah.
And that's part of me, like, I can't wait for the season to get here. But along to what's, Hamster's kind of saying, there's like, once it gets here, it's like, it's so fleeting. And so, like, when you hear, like, guys like Pat McAfee on a Pat McAfee show talk about it, and they're like, we're here, enjoy this. Enjoy it while it's here. Enjoy it while we have it. And that's what I mean. When the NFL gets here, enjoy it when we have, even those shitty Thursday night games, even the games that maybe aren't great, even all that kind of, enjoy it while we have it. Because, boy, it does. Otherwise we're watching the DC Defenders blow out the Michigan Panthers. What a fucking shit game that was. Like, listen, I didn't
even know they were still playing.
I want the UFL to succeed. I want this to work. They gotta figure something out, because the regular season games suck, and then you finally have a high scoring game, but it's a fucking blowout in your championship game. Fuck off. You gotta figure something out, because it's just not. It's not a good product. They have enough of the gambling money to, I think, stay afloat for a while. And that's fine. From what I understand, the reason the television networks are a part of it is because they kind of like having the gambling money part of it.
Okay.
So they keep it running because they're still making something off of that. What Fox Bet and ESPN has ESPN Bet, and they have all the other things. So it's an extra thing for people to bet on. And gambling degenerates will bet on fucking anything, even a UFL. But yeah, just remember, when the NFL season gets here and we have a Thursday night Arizona Cardinals versus Carolina Panthers fucking game, or whatever it's going to be on Thursday night. I haven't looked at the schedule for Thursday night. But when that happens, deep breath, have a drink, have an edible, like I probably will when I'm doing the Thursday night games, and enjoy the suck, even enjoy the suck. Because there are things out there worse than the suck. Like nothing. Because now, here's the thing. Now we're in the thick of it. Hockey's over. Basketball just about over. By the time we see you next week, basketball's going to be over. There's nothing. And I'm sorry to the baseball people out there. Baseball is fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's, unless I'm going to the game and just relaxing, getting a little bit of sun, fresh air, watching that. Unless I'm there, baseball is impossible to watch on television. It is impossible to watch on fucking television. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't get that fucking high. I can't eat enough edibles to make baseball watchable. Can't do it. So just remember that. Just enjoy the suck. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on Stay Tuned Sports. Hamster, Nathaniel, Alicia in the chat. Great to see you, by the way. Glad that you're feeling better. Jimbo, before we get out of here, any last thoughts?
WNBA, Caitlin Clark, take your money, start your own league. just stop already. You know, I'm glad they got.
By the way,
a goon.
By the way,
to protect her, but
Sophie Cunningham, she's a fucking real one.
Yeah, she's my girl.
That's it, girl. They mess with your girl, you mess right back with them. They send one of yours to the hospital, you send one of them to the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
I did like when she hard fouled the other girl.
Yes.
You know, had her by the throat.
Had by the back of the. She had her by the back of the head. It was like talking shit to her. Grabbed her hair right back. It was like, bitch, you touch my girl again, I swear to Christ, I will rip this hair out your fucking skull. That was cool. Sophie Cunningham, absolutely. And again, WNBA, no fines, no suspensions for whatever happened to Caitlin Clark. You have a star, and you're as you said there. So like I said, I actually agree with you on that one. Caitlin Clark, fucking leave, start your own fucking league, and put these guys to shame, because the WNBA is shitting on the one person that is making you relevant. And I think I said that last night during the live stream too. You're shitting on the one person that is making your league relevant for the first time in 27 years. No matter how much you want to sit there and scream, well, Cheryl Swoops and Diana Taurasi, and unfucking watchable. The only time your league has been watchable in the time that I've been alive, since your league has existed, has been because of Caitlin Clark. And you're shitting on her for what reason? I don't know. People out there can assume. I don't know if they're right. I don't know if they're wrong. All I know is that I personally can't figure out why you would do that to what is essentially the face of your league. You have the person who is making your league relevant, and you seem to be upset that she's made your league relevant.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, and I never will. And I'm glad that at least you got somebody on the Indiana Fever right now being like, enough. We're gonna start fucking back. We're gonna start. You swing, we're gonna swing right back, and that's good. And maybe then this fucking nonsense will stop. But yes. So with that being the last thought, thank you everybody so much. If you liked any part of this, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Helps us out tremendously. And of course, if you want to help us out even more, links for our donation station and the merch store down in the description. Until next Tuesday, where you'll get number 11 in our countdown of the preseason power rankings. My name is King. That's your good friend Jimbo right over there, and we'll see you then. Adios, everybody.